I like to start my Monday mornings this way. So this is going to be a little different from some of the other DM talks because I'm not really talking about research per se. I am going to be talking about a new research group that we're going to be able to start here because we recently got some funding. So hooray for that. Yeah. Clapping for money. I enjoy being able to pay people to do things. So this is, I'm actually glad we found out about this on Monday. Was it Monday? Sure. Yeah, it was Monday, which was really good because we were a little bit late hearing about the grant, and I was concerned I wasn't going to hear anything before this DM talk, and this was just going to be an airing of grievances rather than a talk about something. So you all lucked out on that side too. So we put in money for multiple grants, but we only have the first one right now. So today, I'm going to introduce you to the Korean Games and Game Design Research Group, which we are going to be running here in the TSRB building in 309, which is the Gamepad Lab. We don't really have a set schedule right now, but I am assuming with the way that we're waiting on some funds and the way things are going right now, probably going to be starting up in the spring. So we'll have a lot of fun events for you in the spring. A lot of opportunities, a lot of things to do here. So let's just jump right into it. So what is the Korean Games and Game Design Research Group? Honestly, this is there's a couple of things that are going on here. As most of you who saw my talk in the DM talk series last year, one of two that I did last year. This is also, I will just a brief side note here. I've been here 5 semesters. This is my 5th EM talk. I am the Cal Ripken of doing DM talks. For those of you who don't know who Cal Ripken is, he set a record for playing a lot of baseball games in a row. So I don't want to use the term Iron Man or hero or
You're the man.
There we go. See, once again, Michael, I need
I got some of the money, right?
Sure. I mean, I didn't put it in the budget, so you're going to have to pretend to be Soy or Sargalana. Or Master Student, but you can pass for Master Student. You've got the youthful exuberance that apparently the rest of the people in this room don't. I'm just saying, just step it up a notch, just a little. I just need a little bit more energy from you. People online, I can feel it coming, like radiating through the screen here. So you're doing great. I appreciate all y'all. All right. So this group is connected to my larger research into Korean video games. We're also hoping to start a collaboration with the Korean University, but we're still in the really early stages of that. So I'm considering this as like step 1 of being able to start training people, to start doing some of my own research, to start having some activities connected to this. But we're still in the early stages. So as to what this group is going to be moving forward, hopefully it's going to be something a little bit larger than what we have right now. But if this is the only funding that we get, we still have a lot of different little sessions and activities and things planned. I keep saying we, and should probably be a little bit more clear on that. I got Brian to be my co-PI on this. I don't know if he knows that he was the co-PI on this, because when I told him that we won, he was like, congratulations. Even though I reminded him in the meeting, in the message, it's like, hey, that thing that you're co-PI on. So I need to remind him about that again. But outside of Brian, we have Soy. Soy, wave to the people. There we go. Yeah, I mean, you all know Soy. And Sarlana. There, see, yeah, woo. And it looks like it's actually going to be Audrey as well. So basically, I just filled this room with people that I'm going to be paying things. That's a really good way to get people to come to your DM talk, is to give them money. And then in the budget, we might be looking to hire 1 more person as well. And by might be, I mean, I have the budget for it, so I should probably hire 1 more person. And then, of course, I'll be doing a lot of work on this too. But in general, that's what the group is. Little thing that we're going to be running out of TSRB 309. But what are we going to be doing, you might ask? Great question. First thing that we're going to be doing some game nights. So we're putting together a collection of Korean games. Interestingly for me, this is going to include video games, but also some traditional Korean board games. So we've got a small budget to put this all together. I might not even be saying it correctly when I'm saying like Korean board games. There's like card games, there's like physical games, there's a bunch of like a bunch of stuff like that that I know nothing about. I can't even remember their names right now, but luckily I put them all into an Amazon list, so I'll be able to look that up and find them. We're going to be doing some game nights around this. I don't know exactly how I want to structure these. There's a part of me that wants to do it kind of like book club style, where you encourage people to like drop into the lab beforehand and play the game a little bit, and then we all have a meeting like a little bit after. But games are more fun when you're playing them with people too, so it could be fun to just get a little group together and play through some of the stuff that we're looking at here. So when I say Korean games in terms of video games, it's the same thing that I'm doing in my research, where I'm looking at games that are made in Korea, that are made by Korean developers, and usually published by Korean publishers, but not always, rather than games that are just like like well known and widely played in Korea itself. So these are going to be housed in the Gamepad Lab, and they're going to be publicly accessible. Looking at like the budget that we have for this, we're going to be able to get a nice little collection here. I would be thinking that we're looking at like at least 10 digital games, and I can't remember exactly what the budget was looking like for the physical games, but there was at least like 4 or 5 of those that we found that fit within our price range that we thought would be pretty fun to give a shot. So there's also is a thing that they're on like the borderline of whether they're going to fit into the budget, but if there's some money that is that's left over. There's also a couple of games that I've been playing in my own study of like learning to speak Korean. That there's some like learn how to speak Korean games. So not Korean games per se, but ways of learning Hangul, which is the alphabet, or simple words, these sorts of things like that too. So I could find its way into the budget, and I think it could be fun. But I also recognize that I might be the only person who's learning Korean, so it might be harder for me to get people together for those games. But yeah, the first thing, and I'm thinking hopefully going to be our most popular activity, is that we're going to have game nights. I didn't bring water to pause myself with, so I'm going to clean my glasses instead. How are we all doing so far? Isn't this the most interesting thing you've ever done on a Monday morning? Well, like I say this seriously, I'm having a great time right now. I love my job. I love getting to do stuff like this. So I'm really excited. There we go. Nice and clean. I can see you all better now.
Where's the money from?
Where's the money from? The money is from the provost office. So it is, the acronym is PEGS, the Provost's Excellence in Graduate Studies Fund. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I remember it's from the provost, and it's something about graduate studies. So that is the first little chunk of money here. Actually, not too small. I'm excited for it. But it's going to let us do the game nights. Next thing is a book club. This is something that my supervisor did with all of us when I was a PhD student. This thing that I've wanted to do here. So we're going to be acquiring some key texts about Korean games, media, and culture, and I'm hoping to do that in a book club style. Book club and group reading events will be part of this. I need to figure out what the best way to go about this is. If I want to pick like 1 or 2 titles and then buy multiple copies of it so I can like lend them out, or if I want to do like 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, house them all in the lab, and just have people be able to drop by and read them when they would like. So there's going to be some discussion as the best way to go with this. I mean, if it turns out that there's only a small like core group of people that want to be in the book club, then it might make sense to do like deep dives into a couple of texts rather than like building out a library. But I'm going to be thinking about that. These are 2 texts that I read in the last year that are kind of the core Korean game studies texts. So there's Korea's Online Gaming Empire by Dalyeon Jin, which is it's one of those early game studies reads that is it's like really fun to go back to now, because this book is, I think it's over 20 years old. I want to say that it was published in like 2004, 2005, something around that. And then there's Digital Game Culture in Korea by Florence Chi, which is a really cool work that was published it was either last year or the year before. So it's either 2023 or 2024. But definitely a big update over Dalian Jin's work. So it could be that I already have copies of these. I could get a couple of more and do a concentrated book club that style. Or I know that Dalian Jin has written, after writing this book, he's written a bunch of other different books about different aspects of Korean media. So could get some of his. I was also looking at maybe getting some Korean language, learning text. I don't know if anyone's really interested in that. So there's going to be some polling involved in the book club style side of it. The game side of it, not so much, because we basically just found what is available and we're going to acquire as much as possible. Book club, we might be a little bit more open to moving around and figuring out what we're going to do with that. I guess I could do a straw poll here. Do people like the idea of? And now this is not any. There's no obligation here. There is. This is for informational purposes only. I'd offer to close my eyes, but that would make it hard to count. So just in general, book club style, would you prefer a thing where you can go somewhere, read the text on your own and then come and talk about it, or would you rather get a copy of the text, be reading it at home, and have to do a little bit of a deeper dive on it, but then have a group? So basically, I'm asking, do you want a text, or would you want fewer texts that you are able to take home with you, or would you like more texts where you have to go somewhere to read them? In this case, the lab. I'm seeing some consternation on your faces, and I'm feeling like I'm not phrasing this question right. So first part of the straw poll, who understands what I'm asking? Yes. One person. But you're deep in your PhD, so you understand my way of speaking at this point, where the rest of you have not been enveloped by the graduate studies of it all. So let me try and phrase this in a better way. Let's ask a different question. If I bought a bunch of texts and put them into the lab, would you go and read them?
Nobody ever does. PDFs.
So you see, PDFs are difficult because I don't know, can I actually get them to buy PDFs?
You just say we're reading this book, and the rest is magic.
Okay, so I have some budget to buy some books. There might be the solution in there is buy physical copies and then find other ways that I do not condone and which violate copyright, and I would never encourage you to do. But just a question: how many of you have heard of websites where you can go and read full books in PDF form? How many of you? Okay, so a few of you have and a few of you haven't. For those of you that haven't, you should ask the people who have what those sites look like so that you know to avoid them, because they're very convincing, and you might think that you're not violating copyright when you are. But if everybody shares these sites, then together we can better understand how to avoid them and make sure that we pay large publishers as much money as possible. My official position is that you should all go out and buy copies of these texts at your own expense and not even used, new from the publisher. So yeah, we'll figure out some sort of a way to do the book club, but we do have funding for this. I actually hadn't even thought of this. This could be a good way to buy some of those niche articles that we don't have access to the library for one reason or another. Better that I go and spend $120 on something than having all you go out and do it. So we've got some funding for what I'm calling a book club, but could just be a reading group of some kind. So yeah, these are two of our more study-related activities. But we're going to try and do some larger, more public events as well. So we have some workshops that we're setting up. Right now, we have the funding for, I mean, at least 2 or 3. It really depends how we want to divide up the labor and the contracts and what we're doing with some of this stuff. We also have another grant out to try and do a larger, like, one-day event. But for now, we got a couple of things that we're going to be able to do. There's going to be game design workshops. I don't know if that should say game design workshops or game design workshop, because I need to talk to Sargolana about that. But Sargolana is going to teach you, all of you, how to make games. You have to sign up and stuff like that. She's not going to break into your house and do it. Unless that's what you do in your spare time, break into people's houses and educate them. But Sargolana is going to be running some game design workshops. Now we need to decide exactly how we're going to go about this. I don't know if we want to be like, hey, have you never coded or done any of this stuff before? Like, come and learn the basics. Or if we want to do more of a, do you have a little bit of experience? Like, come in and we'll talk about some more advanced concepts. So this is why we're still making up our mind exactly. Once again, we'll be polling, we'll be finding out if it's interesting. Not too much sense in us doing a complete beginner's game making workshop if there are no complete beginners that want to make games and be involved in this. Could also just be a very fun way to sit down and make some stuff together. So maybe we do a little bit more advanced. Maybe we have large numbers, maybe we have small numbers, but we're definitely going to be running. We have the funding for at least one of those workshops. Maybe even to break that into like smaller ones. We'll figure that out. Another thing that we are trying to fund right now is I backspaced the number of hours. So it looks like it says plans for a 8-hour game loan. It should say a 10-hour game jam event. I don't know what happened there. Yes, our game jam is going to be longer than an hour if we can fund it. So we have this is outstanding funds that we have right now. And if we get these, I have, I can't remember how many is it is. Is it 5? Sargolana, did I pick 5 people to be team leaders? Is it 5? It might be 4. I don't want to start throwing names out right now because this one's not funded. So at any rate, I think we have 5 team leaders. And we will do a longer 1-day 10-hour game jam, which is a little bit short for a game jam, but I'm not sure if I can, if I have the interest for overnight events here, or if I'm even allowed to house people in here overnight without security having something to say about that. But also, I've been involved in game jams before, but never run one. So it's like, we could have a 10-hour disaster rather than a 3-day disaster. I kind of don't want my first game jam to turn to like end up on the news as like a fire festival style thing. But maybe we can do a 10-hour fire festival. For those of you who don't know, the fire festival was this music event on a like deserted island that they didn't plan very well. So ended up they just like brought a bunch of people out on ferries and didn't have enough food or like outhouses and stuff for them, so like get people to like rescue these people. So hopefully we don't have to have any rescues from our game jam event if it gets funded. But that is another thing that we'd be looking at as one of our workshops. So if we get the funding for the game jam event, that could adjust what we end up doing for the workshops that Sargolana is going to be running. And when we do these, we're going to advertise them as widely as possible. So participation is going to be open to all interested parties. Generally, most of this stuff is, but I'm pretty sure our audience for the game nights and the book club are going to essentially be the DM program, the HCI program, and then maybe some of the undergraduates in LMC. I don't know how large a reach this is going to have, but these we're going to advertise a little bit more widely, and we'll see what numbers end up looking like. But yeah, we're going to have some fun workshops. So next, we have guest speakers. That is the portrait for our guest speakers right now. We have we have some invited guest speakers. There's one of them that through this PEGS grant I've received the funding for, but I didn't have a chance to talk to them on short notice to be like, hey, can I put your face in this? So it's someone that you know, and it's very, very good. But we're also trying to find a few other people who are very, very good who will be able to give some guest speaker events. Some of these people are international and like very international in where they are located. So we might get to have some fun like 9 p.m. guest speaker events, and we'll try and some sort of pajama theme or something. I don't know. Or 7 a.m. events, which as I say that out loud, I wouldn't even attend those. So I don't think we're going to do it that way. But we're going to try and get some guest speakers out. We have funding for one. Maybe we'll be able to accumulate and find some funding for some others as well. As to what the exact nature of these are going to be, could be some more like making games in academia stuff. It could be more like centered on Korean media. Could be centered on just digital media in general. I don't want to give away anything with this. I feel like the longer that I stay on this slide, the more likely I am to accidentally name this person who I said that I'm not going to name. So we're going to get off this slide right now. All right. And then we have some other activities and future plans. So as I've said, we have some outstanding grant proposals that may allow us to like drastically expand what this program actually looks like. We're actively seeking partnerships with an institution in Korea. That's 2 typos. Can you tell I made these on Friday afternoon so I can have my weekend off? And there's going to be more details on this as they become available. Basically, what I'll say about this right now is that I have like a drastic idea of how we could expand this that is involving like exchanges and actually being able to go to Korea and do some work like this. We're in the early stages of negotiations with an institution. And by early stages, it's funny because in academia, early stages is we've been talking since April, and that's still like super early for figuring some of this stuff out. I might get a chance to go there in November, but I need to find out what the conditions of my visa travel are right now. But it could be as early as that. Might be during the spring break to get over there. But there's an institution in Korea that we're talking about, and that we're talking with. As there's more details on that, well, I'll let you know. And if that gets formalized in any way, this whole games research group is really going to be based along the lines of like training so that people can properly take part in that in exchanges or going to that campus or helping us host people here. So very excited about that, but I'm trying to keep my my excitement in check. And we will also be, we're not going to be suing anyone. We will be using some of the funding to upgrade and catalog the equipment in the gamepad lab. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I have like, I'm very disappointed in myself right now. It's taking all of the strength in my body to not close this and fix these typos right now, because that's 3. They say everything comes in 3s, so I say that knowing that I have 1 slide left. So okay, yeah, another really big thing that we'll be doing with this funding, getting all this in, will be we will be cataloging everything that we have that is coming in. We'll be cataloging some new donations that we got to the lab. So when Janet Murray retired, she left us a bunch of stuff. And someone else gave us a bunch of stuff recently too. I don't know if we got anything from Jay. Maybe we got some stuff from Jay as well. I don't, oh no, what is the name of that lab that they shut down in the last year that was over in Skiles? Dialac. We got some stuff from Dialac. We've been getting stuff from Dialac for like over a year, it seems, because every time that they say this is the last of it, they just find more of it somewhere and we get more stuff. But regardless, we've had a lot of donations. We're making some purchases. One of the ideas is that we want to that we want to catalog all this stuff. For those of you that don't know, like on the both of the windows to the Gamepad Lab in TSRV 309, there's a QR code. You can scan that QR code, and I think you need to sign in with your Georgia Tech credentials. But once you do, it takes you to an Excel sheet that literally shows you everything that we have in the lab. So it's got all of our digital games. It's got all of our board games, right, Audrey? It's got all of our digital games. It's got all of our board games. It has all of our consoles listed there. There are some exceptions, as I said, because we've had some donations, but as much of it as could be cataloged as possible is there. So that shows that allows you to see what we have, and most of that stuff is perfectly accessible to you. You just have to send me a message and we set up a time when you can come and use it. I say most of that stuff because we're missing some equipment and things. And by missing equipment, I mean like we're missing a lot of cabling, especially for our older systems. So we've tested as much as possible, but we have a bunch of older consoles in there that were never tested because we don't have power cords, or we don't have HDMI or audio-visual equivalent hookups for them. So another thing that we're looking to do with some of the funding here is to pick up some of that cabling, because a lot of it is only like, $5 to $10 or something like that. But it's a bit of a task to actually go through, figure out exactly what we need, and acquire all of that stuff. So we're also looking to get like a battery for an old PSP, these sorts of things. But a chunk of the funding that we already have is going to that. And I have more of this built in for each of the other 2 grants that we've applied to as well, to be able to keep acquiring things and to take a lot of the stuff that we already have and make it functional. We have a really extensive collection in there that, as far as I can trace it back, it's about like 20 years old. Like there's stuff in there from like 2004. Is I think the oldest that I've seen. Maybe it was 2007. Regardless, like we got quite a lot in there. It's a very valuable collection, but it's more valuable if we can actually use it for research purposes, or just for doing game nights, or having people have access to it. So one of my tasks once I took over the lab was to try and get as much of that as functional as possible. And then once we're doing that, get as much of it like as secure as possible so that we can make it as public as possible. So this grant's going to help in doing that as well. That has nothing to do with Korean games, theoretically, but that's why it's also a game design group, because apparently plugging in cables is game design now. I declare it to be game design, and as an assistant professor of game design, you can trust me. Not just on that, on anything. That's actually part of my job description. Most trustworthy of all of the academic disciplines. Okay. And how do you get involved? You might be thinking, and that's another great question that I'm glad that you asked. So we're currently in the process of setting up official communications for our research group. In the meantime, you can reach out to us through the Gamepad Lab email address, which is gamepadlab@gautech.edu. That's going to be particularly useful once I get the people that are involved in this project access to that. But as I said before, we're looking at a spring start update for actually running our events and making everything public. Over the next couple of months, we'll be having meetings to figure out what exactly to do. We'll start ordering things so they can get in. We will start cataloging. We will start setting up. We'll start doing all these sorts of things. So right now, there's not too much to do to be involved. As I said, we are looking at, I need one more person for cataloging. So there is one very small contract that is not claimed at this point. But another big thing that we're going to be doing very soon is finding out how I pay people, and getting the actual funding like set up so that we have access to it as well. It's my first time doing this, and it's going smoothly so far, to the point that I'm very concerned that it will stop going smoothly very, very soon. So that's going to be another key part of this. Luckily, like we've got Kenya on it, and I trust Kenya with my life. So we're, maybe that's not, no, I say it out loud. Maybe that's not a good strategy, but Kenya's great at her job. I don't know if she'd save my life, but she'll make sure that all the money gets to where it needs to go. So Kenya's on that for us. So in the meantime, you can keep an eye out for on official channels, by which I mean, I guess, our teams and emails. maybe we will create a listserv because we don't have enough of those in academia. So we can start sending out, and I promise that if we start a listserv, like emails 3 times a day, actively have people arguing so that it just like floods your inbox with people responding to each other. Like we're going to go full academic listserv if we do listserv. So keep an eye out on official channels for updates regarding events, hiring, and other ways to participate. I want you to also note that there are no typos on this page. So thank you for listening today. And I'm open to questions.